People picked up new hobbies during the pandemic, but not all of them are legal. The National Insurance Crime Bureau reported that in 2018, on average, just over 100 catalytic converters were stolen per month, with more than 2,300 stolen in December 2020 alone.
The last year and a half, they've just skyrocketed to the highest they've ever been in the history of whatever, buying precious metal.
John Berger owns a scrap metal business. Last week, he told us the precious metals inside catalytic converters make them valuable. But today, he says, the specific type of car you drive could make you a bigger target for this specific crime.
And some of these, like this there, that's a Honda. Some of the Hondas are real valuable.
The owner of Chattanooga Converter Core says 3 types of vehicles are the biggest targets. A Toyota Prius, because their converters are easily accessible from under the car. Other foreign models where emission standards are higher, which means higher quality and more valuable converters. And bigger trucks and vans.
Any van or any commercial business that has vans, especially, they're the easiest of all to get. They're just hanging there. You lay underneath it, and 1 minute you're gone. You can cut it off and take it and go.
And major targets of this kind of theft are churches.
It was down at the repair shop here in East Ridge, and it was too big to park in the shop, so they had it outside the shop, and they slipped under it and cut the converter off.
The van at Fellowship Baptist Church got hit, and Pastor Chris Paponis said the converter cost $2,000 to replace.
All my friends have had their converter stolen off their big vans that have the expensive converter.
Brianna Idzior, News Channel 9.
Coming up at 6, what you can do to keep your car and your converter safe.
So how can you tell if your converter has been stolen, and why would it matter? When you fire up your car, you'll normally hear a muffled sound coming from the exhaust. But if your catalytic converter gets stolen, you'll hear a loud roar. If you take a look, you'll see a large gap in the exhaust system where it used to be mounted. And that's only a piece of the problem. The device is an important part of the car's emissions control system. So when it's removed, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, and other pollutants will come straight out of your tailpipe.
So how can you prevent this from happening to you? That's the question. Well, you can park your car in a garage or a secured parking area. If you can't do that, you can install motion sensor security lights, and you can also install a catalytic converter anti-theft device available from various manufacturers. And most basic, always lock your vehicle and set the alarm. But if this still happens to you, the theft is covered by insurance in some cases. For detailed information on your coverage, contact your insurer.
Christy, this building was completely destroyed in the fire and 8 families were displaced. But today's story isn't just about the people who lost their homes. It's about the people who still live here. And the CFD inspection report shows that even though there's been some progress, the people here aren't safe. In the months since this fire, Marky Beasley has slowly been rebuilding.
Over the last few weeks since this happened, we went out and bought new furniture, appliances, and everything.
But the concern for Beasley is not the material.
This place needs to be updated, just to prevent a life from being taken in the future.
He says he's worried about this happening again. Just 2 weeks ago, we brought his concerns to the assistant fire marshal and filed a public record request.
It's been a minute.
We learned the complex had not been inspected since 2004.
Since there has been no inspection, I guarantee you there will be one forthcoming very soon.
This record we just received shows on the 14th, CFD did inspect the complex. They found that in most buildings, smoke alarms were not operational, and both the fire alarm system and maintenance of exit ways were rated unsatisfactory.
Wow. That's kind of upsetting, to be honest.
Since then, the fire department has re-inspected the complex and found little progress, saying in their second report, quote, if significant progress had not been made by October 1st, the office would start removing residents from what they call an unsafe situation.
Shouldn't have a fire, 4 or 5 fires break out in order for that to become, urgent.
We called the property managers to check in on that progress.
Hi, this is Sabrina with News Channel 9. Is this Miss Tamara?
She told us all smoke detectors and emergency lights were repaired in units where residents are living. But when we went inside multiple residents' homes, we found this. This smoke alarm dangling from the ceiling. In another unit, this one with cobwebs, but new emergency lights installed. And inside of this apartment, no smoke detector in place at all. The fire fire department says they're working with property managers to make sure all corrections needed happen. They're also re-inspecting the property on October 1st.
SkyZoo filed a petition in court against the city of Chattanooga after the city's beer board voted to revoke the bar's special exemptions permit. That means the business is no longer classified as a nightclub and has reduced its capacity and is now closing earlier. Businesses in the surrounding area tell me it's about time.
I don't want to be a nightclub anymore. I'm giving my license away. I'm giving my special exemption zoning away. If that will help me be open and stop some of this violence.
That was SkyZoo's owner, Leo DeCordio, back in July. He told council members he would transition from a nightclub to a sports bar and voluntarily give up his special permit that allowed him to stay open later.
Punishing me or removing my license is just not going to change because I'm giving you my license back, my separate. I don't want to be a nightclub anymore. I'm old. I want to go home and hang out with my kids. I don't want to die. You think I'm scared?
Council members agreed there was a problem at this well-known club and voted to revoke their special permit. But today, we discovered this paperwork filed in court where SkyZoo's owner is changing his tune, now saying he was harassed by the city of Chattanooga and not given a fair and impartial hearing. He now says his business has been affected. Part of his agreement back in July was to decrease capacity and close earlier. And while nearby businesses say they have seen some improvement.
It was, of course, our business was always closed when they would park over here, but there was always trash all over the place. And when we would come back in to work on Monday, it would be a mess and we had to clean up.
We uncovered that the hours haven't changed much, going from 3 a.m. to now 2:30 a.m. The city of Chattanooga did respond to this petition, saying Leonardo agreed to voluntarily give up this permit. They say that this was not action taken by a local government against a small business.